Hello, I am Loverslane Yu Pakal, the leader of Group 9, which is the reporter of the RA or the Republic Act 100533, which is also known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. So, what is the RA 100533 is all about? So, the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013 is about building a strong curriculum extending the time students spend in basic education, pursuing funding for these initiatives, and pursuing other objectives. It is hereby declared that every graduate of basic education shall be an empowered individual who has learned through a program rooted in sound educational principles and oriented towards excellence. The foundation for in lifelong learning, the ability to engage in work and be productive, the ability to coexist in fruitful harmony in local and global communities, and the ability to engage in autonomous, creative, and critical thinking, and the capacity and willingness to change others and oneself. So that's all the RA 10533 is all about. The next section or the next slide is would be reported by my member, which is named Maria Faith Maglangit.
Section 2 Declaration of Policy. The state shall establish, maintain, and support a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the needs of the people, the country, and the society at large. It is the policy of the state that every student should receive a quality education that is globally competitive based on a pedagogically sound curriculum that is at par with international standards. Broaden the goals of high school education for college opportunities as well as creative arts, sports, and entrepreneurial employment. Section 3 Basic Education. Basic education is intended to meet basic learning needs, which provides the foundation in which subsequent learning can be based. It encompasses kindergarten, elementary, and secondary education, as well as alternative learning systems for out-of-school learners and those with special needs. Section 4 Enhanced Basic Education Program. The Enhanced Basic Education Program encompasses at least 1 year of kindergarten education. It consists of 6 years of compulsory basic education. The entrant age to the junior and senior high school levels are typically 12 and 16 years old respectively. Section 5 Curriculum Department. The DepEd shall work with Commission on Higher Education, CHED, to craft to harmonize basic and tertiary curricula for the global competitiveness of Filipino graduates. To ensure college readiness, shall coordinate with the CHED and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESTA. Section 6 Curriculum Consultative Committee. There shall be created a Curriculum Consultative Committee chaired by the DepEd Secretary or his or her duly authorized representative and with members composed of, but not limited to, a representative each from the CHED, the TESDA, the DOLE, the PRC, the Department of Science and Technology or DOST, and a representative from the business chambers.
Section 7 Teachers' Education and Training. To ensure that the Enhanced Basic Education Program meets the demand for quality teachers and skill leaders, the DepEd and the CHED, in collaboration with relevant partners in government, academic, industry, and non-governmental organizations, shall conduct Teachers' Education Training Program as specified Ken Robles Virtual Library. A. In-service training on content and pedagogy. Current DepEd teachers shall be trained to meet the content and performance standard of the new K-12 curriculum. The DepEd shall ensure that private education institutions shall be given the opportunity to avail of such training. Section 8. Hiring of graduates of science, mathematics, statistics, engineering, and other specialists in subjects with a shortage of qualified applicants, technical vocational courses, and higher education institution faculty, notwithstanding the provisions of Sections 26, 27, and 28 of Republic Act No. 7836, otherwise known as the Philippines Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. The DepEd and private education institutions shall hire as may be relevant to the particular subjects. Section 9. Career Guidance and Counseling Advocacy. To properly guide the students in choosing the career tracks that they intend to pursue, the DepEd, in coordination with the DALE, the TESTA, and the CHED, shall regularly conduct career advocacy activities for secondary level students, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 27 of Republic Act No. 9258, otherwise known as the Guidance and Counseling Act of 2004. Career and employment guidance counselors, who are not registered and licensed guidance counselors, shall be allowed to conduct career advocacy activities to secondary level students of the school where they are currently employed, provided that they undergo a training program to be developed or accredited by the DepEd. Section 10. Expansion of E-GAST-P beneficiaries. The benefits accorded by the Republic Act No. 8545 are the expanded government assistance to students and teachers in Private Education Act shall be extended to qualified students enrolled under the Enhanced Basic Education. The DepEd shall engage the services of private education institutions and non-DepEd schools offering senior high school through the programs under Republic Act No. 8545 and other financial arrangements formulated by the DepEd and the Department of Budget and Management (DBM) based on the principles of public-private partnerships.
So the Section 11 or the appropriations is the enhanced basic education program. Initial funding shall be charged against the DepEd's current appropriations, and the Secretary of Education shall include in the department's program. The subsequent General Appropriation Act shall contain the required funding for the continued execution of the improved basic education program. The section number 12, or the transitory provisions, the DepEd, the CHED, and the TESTA should formulate appropriate strategies and mechanisms needed to ensure a smooth transition from the extinct 10-year basic education cycle to the improved basic education cycle, or K-12. The strategies might include adjustments of the nation's physical infrastructure, human resources, organizational and structural issues, bridging models that connect grade 10 competences to the entrance standards of new tertiary curricula, and collaborations between the government and other organizations. So the section number 13, or the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on the Enhanced Basic Education Program, or K-12 program, is hereby establish a joint oversight committee to supervise, track, and assess this act implementation. The Senate and the House of Representatives will each send 5 members to the Oversight Committee, together with the chairs of the respective Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance Committee. Every House committee must have a minimum of 2 opposition or the minority members. So section number 14, or the mandatory evaluation and review, is mean that by the end of the 2014 to 2015 school year, the DepEd is required to review the K-12 program's implementation in terms of addressing the following present shortage: teachers, classrooms, textbooks, seats, toilets, and other shortage that need to be addressed. And the section number 15, on the other hand, or the commitment to international benchmark, is mean that the DepEd will work to raise per capita spending on education in order to quickly meet international benchmarks. That's all.
Section 16. Implementing rules and regulations. Within 90 days after the effectively of this act, the DepEd Secretary, the Chairperson, and the TESDA Director General shall promulgate the rules and regulations needed for the implementation of this act. Section 17. Separability Clause. If any provisions of this act is held invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity and effectivity of the other provision hereof. Section 18. Repealing Clause. Pertinent provisions of Batas Pambansa BLG 232 or the Education Act of 1982, Republic Act Number 9155, or the Governance of Basic Education. Act of 2001, Republic Act Number 9258, Republic Act Number 7836, and all other laws, decrees, executive orders, and rules and regulations contrary to or inconsistent with the provisions of this act are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 19. Effectivity Clause. This act shall take 15 days after the publication in the official Gazette or in the newspaper of general circulation. Number 1. Give every student an opportunity to receive quality education that is globally competitive based on pedagogically sound curriculum that is part with international standards. 2. Broaden the goals of high school education for college preparation, vocational and technical career opportunities, as well as creative arts, sports, and entrepreneurial employment in a rapidly changing and increasingly globalized environment. 3. Make education learner-oriented and responsive to the needs, cognitive and cultural capacity, the circumstances and diversity of learners, schools, and communities through the appropriate languages of teaching and learning, including the mother tongue as a learning resource.